Okay, now we're going to learn how to make the larger frame beads. Just roll out and make a log of clay, and I'm just going to cut this into square beads using my little razor blade here. And I'm going to make either 6 or 8 beads. I'm going to make 8, but I'm not sure how many I'm going to use. And once I cut them up, I'm just going to, firm up their shape. I want them to be square, but with rounded edges. And using a toothpick, just put a hole in the center. And anything that gets out of whack, just smooth it down. Right. I wiggle the toothpick to make sure that I'm going to be able to thread it onto the cording with no problems. And I'm going to make all of the beads just like this. And here they are, ready to go into the oven. But I want to make a few extra beads for the earring. The pendant is already done. So just making a few extra beads for the earrings. I'm not going to bore you with the details, but I'm just making little small square beads and rice-shaped beads. And using the toothpick, just go through the center and make sure you wiggle the toothpick so that you can thread it onto the cording without any problems. Okay, just make your extra beads for your earrings. Okay, and following the same instructions as the last pendant, you're going to put a dab of glue on the wire and add your designer beads. And then for the top loop, because this is a very thin wire, it's about a 24 gauge, I'm just going to twirl it, curl it around the round nose plier to make a a place for the cording to go through. And the cording, I have Scotch tape on the edges to make it easier to get through the beads and the pendant. I'm going to start by lacing the cording through the pendant, if I can get it through here. Here it is. Okay, and I'm going to drag the pendant all the way down to the center of the cording, and then I'm going to tie 2 knots on each side. But first I'm going to tie the first knot very close to the center point, and then because that knot is so tiny, I want it to be bigger, so I'm going to tie a second knot right on top of it. Not alongside of it, but right on top of it, so it looks like a bigger knot. And for all of the knots, this is what I'm going to do. It's going to be 1 knot on top of another knot. Okay, when I get my first one done, I'm going to go to the other side and do the same thing. Okay, and so once you have your first 2 knots tied, you're going to put on your beads, and you're going to put either 3 or 4 on each side, surrounding each of the beads with that same type of knot. It's actually 1 knot on top of the other. And you're going to do the same thing. You're going to hold the bead in place, and you're going to manipulate it so that it's pretty close. You want the bead to have a little bit of room, but you want it to be fairly tight. And you're going to do this, you're going to do one bead at a time from side to side so that they're exactly the same distance. So it's very symmetrical on both sides, and you're going to do this all through, up and down the cording. And this is what it's going to look like when you're done. I used 6 beads. Okay. And so now you have, the ends are kind of raw. So I'm going to take another little piece of clay and make 2 bead caps for the ends of these cords. So you just flatten it out, embed the cord in there, and just form either a rice-shaped bead or a little square bead on the end of each of the cords, and that'll give it a nice professional finish. And I like to make mine approximately the same size, so I'm just going to measure and make sure that they're both even. And now I'm going to demonstrate how I bake them. I open my toaster oven, and with the necklace in a tray, I place that on top of the oven and let the 2 ends hang down with the bead caps. Then I close my oven. The door is broken, so I have it hooked up here with a piece of Velcro. I just put it on the proper temperature and then set my timer for about 15 minutes, 12 to 15 minutes. And then when they're done, everything is baked, and the only thing that's left is to cut off that end wire. So just like the other pendant, they're glued on there now, so I can take that end piece of wire off. And now the set is done. And because of the slide macrame closure that we're going to make in a minute or two, you can wear it at any length you need to. So let me show you how that works. Okay, when this comes off the card, it's usually dented every few inches, and I just iron it with a regular iron. Okay, now I'm not going to dictate too much on this because I think it's the easiest way to learn it is to just watch it. Now I have a full video on making the macrame slide on YouTube if you want to see it more in detail. I'm just going to do it quickly here. It's pretty much like, one side over the other. I think it's just easier if you just watch. Sometimes I forget which side is next, but like I said, it pretty much works out. You try to remember which side is next. I do about 4 of the little knots. Okay, and as you can see, it slides, and then you can wear it at any length. And so now we're going to use the same glue we used on the rest of the project.